Hello everybody, welcome back to Musings by Nikki. This is Nikki. I'm here with a video today to do part 2 or step 2 in my Storybook Wood journal kit extravaganza. I don't know. Words failed me there for a second. So anyhow, today I'm going to talk about how I kind of curate my signatures in my process of making journals. Now I'm making 3, possibly 4, but probably just 3 in this series. And so in my last video I showed you how I spent time like inking all the pages and everything. I have now taken those and folded them, and I'll talk through some of that in just a second here. The way I do journals, so I know some people like to put their signatures in, bind them in, and then decorate, but I don't work that way, and I don't know why. It's just this process. Well, I do know why. This process works better for me for a couple of reasons, and it's not right or wrong either way. It's just what works for you. This works for me. Part of it's because my signatures tend to get really chunky, so sometimes I have to edit how many pages I have, because I like to make my books chunky, and so sometimes I need to pull pages out. So I'll pull out extraneous pages in order to make sure that I can leave all of the really fun, textural fun stuff in my books. So I'm going to show you kind of my process now for putting together the signatures so that I can then start decorating them, and kind of what are some of the base things that I do right now. So I've got here my stacks of my 2 stacks, and they're like so let me move some of this other props out of the way here that I will come to in a minute, as long as this video doesn't get ridiculously long. So these are the pages from the paper pad, and I've got them sorted into 3 groups. So those are my 3 sets of those. Then I have got 3 sets of storybook pages that I will be putting in. And I've got my 3 kits here. Whoops. My 3 kits. Then I have a bunch of folded, just regular copy stained papers that I pulled out. Then I've got some pattern paper that's coffee stained. So I've got 3 sets of that. Oh no, I haven't divided that up yet. Then I've got some masking paper, and I printed on some vellum back here. So what I'm gonna do, and this is gonna be kind of hard to show exactly because I'm gonna make a bunch of piles, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to put 1 set of my kit out. I'm gonna put this just right over to the side over here. I'm gonna put 1 set of my storybook papers out. I'm gonna put 1 set of my paper pad out. Gosh, geez, guys, it's been a really long day already, and it's only like 5 o'clock, and it's already been a long day. These are, what was I doing here? Okay, so these are just regular folded in half, no flip outs or anything, and then these have flip outs. So part of what I do when I'm folding papers is I fold some of them to have flip outs and some not to. So even with these papers, there are some that have flip outs, right? And I think this one maybe has a flip out. So sometimes these flip outs will actually get sewn shut and become a tuck spot, but first I like to add the trim and stuff to it so I can do sewing that on and then sew it shut. So, but who knows? I don't know yet if that's where I'm going with that one. So let's see, I have 3 books. How many of these do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll do 2. Those are all dark ones. I'll do a dark one in each one, and then I'll do a lighter one in each one. And this book will get one extra. All right, then I've got some of these folded ones. So how many of these? You think I would have made an even number of these, but I was probably willy-nilly doing this. There are 6 of those, so that's good. I'll do kind of a reddish one for each one. Like that. And I'm going to put these over there. Then I've got some masking paper that I have roughly ripped the edges of because I like that look. So I think there are enough for 3 pieces for each journal. I think that's what I remember doing. Yep. So we'll do that. And then I've got some vellum that I've printed on. So each one gets a wood grain. Each one gets one of these ones, one of these, and one of those. These were a trick, you guys. Look how dark they are. So, man, when all that ink gets on here, it just wanted to curl up. I've had it under books. Ugh, yikes. That one was a mess. Okay. So now I'm gonna kind of lay this out because I want to see what I'm working with, and I want to get a variety of each kind of papers and stuff in each signature. I think for this one I'm gonna go for 3 signatures, and we'll see how thick they are. So that's, you know, the other part of this is I kind of start with an idea, like, oh, I think I'll start with about 3 signatures. And then sometimes when I get when I get all this put into 3 signatures, they're way too thick or they're not thick enough. So then I either add some coffee stained paper in there, or, you know, I adjust, I play, that's what I do. And this is the kit that's part printed on that really bright, it's the really bright kit because it's printed on matte photo paper. So these are, it's a little thicker too, it's like cardstock. So usually in the front of every signature, or around every signature, I like to put like a piece of cardstock type of thing as kind of an anchor page or a base page. But since these are my kit, this is kind of the theme of the book, I think and they're on thicker paper though, I think I'll put these as my anchor pages. So I like that one as one. I like that tag there, and I like that one because I like these frames here at the beginning of a signature. And maybe, maybe that one. So those will be my 3 signature, like the outsides of the signatures. So then I just start going like this. No, I try not to overthink this part because I have a tendency to do that. Sometimes I'll look at 2 pages together like this and go, okay, I like the way that kind of looks. The colors look together. And let's see, how many am I doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. See, look at how that just wants to curl up. It'll get better once it's been in the book here. See, I like how those look together. So, yep, I'll leave those. A piece of six, 7, 8. I try not to go more than 10 pages in a signature because that just gets a little like crazy. And I also like sometimes layers like this. So this one's kind of shorter, and then this one's a little bit shorter too. And then you would see, like, and then here, let's see, this one's shorter and that's shorter, but it's kind of layered like this. So when you open to this page, you've got this layering effect too. I like that. I like how that looks. But I don't want that to be the center of my signature. So I want, one of these had, yeah. Oh, but that's a Storybook page. Let's do one of these. Yeah, we'll do these fairies. Okay, so there is my first signature. I think that was like 8, 9 pages maybe, if you were keeping count with me. So then let's throw this next one together. I'm getting all my, oh, this is also the time that I try to make sure that they're all going the right way, because man, I have sewn together signatures one too many times to flip through and then be like, ah, that's upside down, what am I doing? One page will end up upside down. So I try to make sure, especially right now from the beginning, that they're all going the right way. Oh my goodness. Because that's how I do sometimes. Let's see, I want a Storybook page in between these. I want that right there. And then this. And how many of these do I have left? The kit. I might need to put one more page from the kit in the other signature as well. Oops. Yeah, it helps if it opens too. And okay, there's a second signature. And then here is my third. So just throwing the stuff in here. Ooh, this printed out, this blue is so vibrant. So I might not be able to fit all these pages in here even, which is okay. This is what sometimes happens to me. And if it does, then here's what I do. Sometimes I just end up with extras of these pieces and stuff. So if I do, that's when I end up, so remember at the beginning I said 3, maybe 4. That's when I end up maybe printing out one more kit and throwing these together into like a skinny or a single signature journal. So I'm not making a 4th big, multi-signature book. But as I'm already processing and making tags and ephemera and that sort of stuff, it's easier to go ahead and do one more if I end up with too much of this stuff, which it looks like I might end up with too much. I don't want to make this, a mega journal, because there's 3 signatures already and those have good heft. And now it doesn't look like much right now, but I tell you what, once I start bulking these things out, it gets a little crazy. What I might do is, it looks like I have enough here for one more signature. So what I'll probably do is add this together to make one more signature. Oof. So this will be a 4 signature book, which is fine as well. Rarely do I go in like thinking, I've got this total plan, I know exactly how I want to do. Sometimes I do that, but not often. And that in the middle. So see, I like how this is, I made this one shorter, so when you open up the middle of the signature, you can still see the border around the edge. See, I like stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be a chunky monkey right there. That's a 4 signature book right there. So I've got my 4 1, 2, 3, 4. Oopsie. 1, 2, 3, 4 signatures for this one. So I'm not going to go through the other ones with you, but what I will do is tell you the next step that I do now, once I've got my signatures put together, is this is where I start sewing on trims and things to the edges of my pages. So I start doing that kind of sewing because usually I like to have stuff on my books. These are going to be my vision for these books is to be similar to my Wildwood books, where there were lots of leaves and stuff. So luckily Hobby Lobby, Joanne, all that stuff has all their autumn leaves and stuff coming out right now. Let me move my signatures over. So I have this wealth of, oh my gosh, look at all the yumminess. And look at how, so they're sparkly, like look, they're glittery leaves and stuff, and look how they match with this. So how fun to have some of this hanging off the edges of signatures and out of the book, right? And it's sparkly and whatnot. Yes. And it matches the autumn leaves kind of. And if you go to Hobby Lobby right now, I know that if you have a Hobby Lobby near you, these were on sale. But you can get these at like Joanne and other places too. So anyway, I will go through on some of the pages, you know, like this. I'll go through, I'll be doing little clusters of leaves and things and stuff and junk. So if they're going to be things that I sew on, I will sew those things on before I do any, you know, more embellishing. The other thing that I do is, let me put away my, after I made it rain leaves, now I've got this pile is wily. Go away for a second. So then I've got all my offcuts here from when I was trimming down my paper pad pieces and my coffee dyed papers. So I try to, when I look at the 12 by 12s, I try to pick out like which edges that I want to trim off and stuff, especially if they have larger images. So then I end up with really cool pieces like, oh, I just saw it, like this one. So this has got this cool glittery trim on it. So that'll look cool along the edge of a page or something. So if I'm going to put some of these, if I'm going to do some layering with these along the edges of pages just as trim, as interest, I'll sew those on right now. And then these larger ones, the bigger offcuts, these become pockets and stuff. So if I'm going to do some pockets, this is when I start cutting the, you know, cutting these out and sewing them onto pages. So I kind of go through and like, here we go. I know I'll probably want to put a pocket onto a page like this or something. So I'll trim it down and then I'll do that sewing too. If I'm going to sew, a lot of times I'll sew trim along the top of the pocket before I sew it in. So I'll do that. So this is now the time when I start doing that really basic stuff of sewing in my, deciding where I'm going to put tuck spots, deciding where I'm going to put pockets, cutting those out and sewing them into the book. I also have my pile of trims that I've kind of curated out of my stash of things that I want to put into the books as well. So I've got some of these red rose, like kind of floral appliques here, because that reminds me of fairy tales, right? The red rose. So I've got some of those. I've got some of these really cool upholstery trims. So I'll probably, they're heavy like brocadey. That reminds me of you know, kind of almost like medieval, Renaissance and princessy, honestly. So this is kind of a nondescript general fairy tale feel. That's what I'm going for. I got some of this fun fuzzy, it's got just a hint of sequins in there, which of course you're not going to see on the camera. I've got some cool kind of more really heavily stitched brocade ribbon. I'll probably put a piece of that somewhere. Then of course I've got these really lovely sari trims from Dust Fairies. What I did do, Dawn, one of my viewers. Hi, Dawn. She, more of the upholstery trim. She was saying, you know, that she's going to try and make this journal along with me. I think some of you others are as well, which is awesome. But you maybe don't have this. I just happen to have this because I bought this gorgeous bundle from her. This is just a quick shout out again. I know you said thanks in the last video, but you guys got to go check out Dust Fairies. She sells these bundles and they're really reasonably priced, and you get a lot of stuff, and it's trims and appliques and these gorgeous pieces of saris and sari silks, and oh my goodness. And I have a hard time using them because they're just so, I mean, look at this stuff, you guys. It's hard to part with this, but it also, I mean, how is this not look like fairy tale, right? So I mean, this one looks like a stinking crown. But maybe you don't have this. So what I did do is I just took a couple pieces. I'm just gonna do this one time. We'll show you real quick, and I scanned them in. Of course, it's nowhere near, and I fiddled with this so much and could not get it. This is as bright as I could get it. I don't know, guys. There's maybe, this is matte photo paper, and this is regular copy paper. So you can see the little bit of color difference there, like how vivid it is. But here they are cut out. So I'm going to put this as a freebie. There you go. These 3 trims, because I figured these look like fun. And I only have so much of this, and this is literally all that I have of these trims. That's not going to make it through 3 or possibly 4 books. So I'm going to use you know, when I make a kind of a journal set, there's usually like one big flagship book, and that's the, you know, one that is kind of, it ends up being more expensive, but it's also the one that is like the flagship, you know. So some of this will go into that one, but I'll keep the you know, some pieces of it for the other books as well. I also have some other trims. This one's cool. And I've got some ribbons, some ribbon that I'll be using. So I'm gonna, this is when I go through, oh, I've got this cool lace. I'll use some of this as well. And some of this will become like, this one is really cool for making a pocket along the edge of a book. So if I sew it on, it overlaps, and then you can use it as a tuck. So yeah, this is where I go ahead and start kind of going and working through my signatures, doing that stuff. Is putting those things in the layering on the edges and then sewing in some pockets. If I'm going to make a flip out, that's where I do it then. Then next step will be, you know, making ephemera and then starting to maybe decorate some of those a little bit more. But that's kind of where I'm at right now for curating my signatures. I will go ahead and set my other ones up and stuff. And then once I have started working through sewing trims on and maybe have a signature or 2 done, or maybe a whole journal done, I will pop on and show you another video of kind of where I'm at with that process. And then after that will become like making the ephemera and that sort of stuff, and jazzing up the ephemera that we did in the last video. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I love hearing from you. I love how interactive you guys are being. This is really, really fun. So let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, I will see you guys again soon. Have a wonderful, well, it's a little crazy in my world the next like week or so, not gonna lie. So I will try to pop on, but I'm not sure how much I'm gonna get done in the next, you know, 5 or 6 days. But after that, we move into some more calm period. So is it ever really truly calm? Maybe not. Anyhow, guys, I will see you again very soon, whenever that is. And I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is, in whatever place it is on this wonderful, beautiful globe that we live on. I will see you guys then. Take care. Until then, God bless. Bye-bye.